All right, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Knit State of Mind podcast. This is episode 37. We're back within the month, which is a bit wild. But I'm Wanda. I'm coming from the unceded ancestral homelands of the Lishan Ohlone people here in the Bay Area, California.
And I'm Heather, and I am coming from the home of the Multnomah, Cowlitz, Clackamas, many other people, also known as Portland, Oregon. And as Wanda said, we are an irregularly scheduled knitting podcast. And welcome.
Welcome. So we noticed that we have quite a few new subscribers. So welcome. We appreciate you for joining our community. And as always, the people who have been rocking with us for a while, welcome back. And I guess we want to take a moment to also thank Docky from the Wool in the Forest podcast, who recommended our podcast to folks. And I think we've both been watching her for a while and just kind of appreciate the aesthetics and the range of programming that she has going on over there, from vlogs to sharing knitting and making and cooking and baking, and her and her family's life. I think they're up in
somewhere up in the Olympic Peninsula, I think, because I love to watch it because my grandparents lived on the Olympic Peninsula.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So you have a personal connection. Yeah. So
yeah,
definitely. And so for folks who haven't watched her, we don't mention podcasts a lot on here, but she's definitely one to check out. And it's just bringing some meaningful content about just life and knitting and making
and everything. Yeah. So
absolutely.
So welcome. I think we'll with that dive right in, right?
Yeah, did we want to share a little bit more about ourselves because there are new folks, or I don't know if people went back to episode 1. It feels like such a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been back to episode 1 in quite a while myself.
The state of the world was so different.
Yeah.
I think I was just recently making a comeback to knitting.
I think so. Maybe like a year or so after you had started knitting again, I think.
Yeah, I think a year or so back. And so, we're knitting friends. We're friends in general. We were colleagues. So we kind of tell that story when we first started the podcast about meeting at work.
Yeah. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And knitting together, right? I remember being in a staff meeting and talking with you about knitting. That was probably like 2008, 2007. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just loved it because we knit during professional development. So I saw you knitting, and I think other folks now. All right, it's time for me to bust out my knitting too.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, I can't really do that anymore now, but whatever. I knit at other times.
we make the time. We have the time.
Yeah. And I also crochet and cross stitch. And you crochet a little bit too, right?
I crochet a little bit. Actually, as is the story for many people, I started out crocheting. Two of my aunties taught me how to crochet when I was younger. And recently, it's been a while now, I've been wanting to get back into sewing, like really get into sewing. And you and I, Heather, we've talked about it. So that's something that I'm sitting with and thinking about as well. But,
I say every year that I'm going to sew a garment for myself, and then I never do. In fact, I moved almost a year ago from the Bay Area here to Portland, and I still have not even... My sewing machine came out of the box and went onto a shelf, and I have not touched it. So.
I never got to follow up with you on that because I know you were contemplating if you would even take it with you. So you did.
Yeah. I did take it with me because I was like, I mean, if I need it for something, I'll have it. But it's a super old machine that I could definitely upgrade it, I guess we'll say. But I still have it. I just have not used it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into some knitting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to update us with your crochet,
I,
but
yes, I will, of course. But I do have an FO or that I'm wearing.
tell us about it.
So I did show this as an FO last time, which was about 3 weeks ago. Since that time, we recorded that at the beginning of a 4-day weekend. And so I had that 4-day weekend, and then I had an unexpected 4-day weekend because we had 2 snow days here. So I had like a flurry of knitting time. So I have actually a bunch of FOs. And then since that time, everything's gone back to normal, and I'm just knitting a little bit here and there. But this is my mashup of the Terrazzo sweater by Petite Knit and the Un sweater by November Knits. And it was still wet from blocking when I showed it a few weeks ago. So since that time, it has dried. I did end up ripping back a little bit, I'll show you in a minute, and lengthening the split hem because the proportions just weren't quite right. And now it's ready, and I actually wore it to work earlier this week or last week, I forget. But so it has this 1x1 ribbed turtleneck and big sleeve cuffs. Those are from the Petite Knit pattern. And then I did a split. I'm sorry, the light is a little bit wonky today because it's rainy outside. So before, when I recorded, the split hem was a little bit shorter, and I actually ripped back to start the split hem sooner and then make it a little bit longer. So I'm very happy with it. It's, nice oversized fit, which is what I was going for. And I did pull up, just if anyone's curious what the yarn is. It is Rowan felted tweed in the color pine, combined with Valley Yarn Southampton silk mohair in the color royal pine. So.
Yeah, I've been loving the deep greens and teals this season. So it's such a beautiful, cozy color.
Yeah, it's nice, and I was able to use up some stash yarn and
perfect. Yeah. Is the ribbing, was that twisted rib? That's twisted ribbing.
It is, yeah. Did I say 1x1? Yeah, it's twisted rib, the whole thing. And I told on the last episode I had to rip it all out and do it again because it was too tight. So, but it's perfect now. I feel like it's cozy but not constricting.
Very nice. Yeah, and I'm feeling the split hem too. I'm very curious. One of my projects has that, and so curious about just kind of getting that starting point just right and thinking about where it should fall. But cool.
Yeah, I mean, I found when I fixed this one, I pulled it back to start basically at my natural waist. So
I might take that as a tip. Yeah, cool. So I'm wearing a old finish object, but I haven't worn it on the podcast before.
No, you showed it, right? But you've never
showed it, but I've never worn it. Yeah. So this is the Shifty by Andrea Mowry. I use a fingering weight yarn. I think the pattern calls for sport, but fingering weight yarn worked just fine for me. And I'm pretty sure I used the size 5 needles on this. And I talk about it, I don't remember which episode, but in a previous episode. And yeah, I mean, the fit worked out for me. The yarn is Lambstring's yarn. It's one of their sock bases. And the colors, you know what? The colors are on my Ravelry, but I still haven't taken FO pictures of it. So, but the colors are there, and I'll stand up so you can see it on.
Yeah, that does fit really nicely.
And it comes right out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the pattern, as you all probably know, it requires color changing, kind of like hand spun yarn essentially, but mine is basically striped. With 3 of my favorite colors.
Yeah, and I think the subtle colors are really nice because you can see the striping effect, but it does still have like a little bit of like the variegation, and it's not too stripy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Cool. So, you have more FOs. How many FOs?
I do. I have 3 other ones.
Okay. I have 2. One of them is not here with me, but I'll talk about it
Nice. Well, I will, last time we got a couple comments about how people liked it when we were guessing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I enjoy that.
Do you want to guess what long time FO I finished on our snow days?
Long time FO?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. I don't know. Now I know how you feel when I ask you.
It is something that I started before I moved, for sure. I don't remember when I started it. Probably around a year ago.
I'm kind of wondering if it's crochet, though.
It's not crochet.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, wait. The wee mittens?
The wee mittens.
The wee mittens?
I was going to say you made them too, but it would be too obvious.
I would have given it away.
Okay. So these are the wee mittens by Ainur Berkimbayeva. The pattern is great. I had a lot of problems that were user error. As you can probably see, one of them is quite a bit bigger than the other one. That was gauge issues. I ended up ripping back and adding like a few more rows to the cuff to hide the floats. I've got like wonky on the side. I wasn't able to, because of my tension when I was turning the corner on my magic loop, that's all messy, but I got them out and I was like, should I just like toss these or frog them? And they were literally finished except for the thumbs. And I was like, this is ridiculous. It only took me about an hour to put the thumbs in. And from like the palms in the front, if you look at them, if you don't really look closely at the side, they look pretty good after blocking, I think.
Yeah. And anyone who's not a knitter wouldn't pay attention to those things.
No. Yeah.
It's so good to see them finished.
Yeah. And they are going to be quite warm, I think. I made these out of a yarn. It's called Twirl Ditto. I think it's from the company Fiber Shed or something is also on the label. And it's just a natural wool. So they're definitely going to be warm, not really let the wind through. So I haven't actually, even though I did finish them on those snow days, they had to block and everything. So I haven't worn them out and about yet, but
I haven't tested them yet.
But yeah, I'm happy with them. And I have a plan. I do want to make some more mittens in the fall and winter because I do think they will be really useful for me. So yeah,
we've been doing the hand accessories.
Yeah.
I still love your color choices. I still like the design.
I do like the design. Yeah.
I ended up frogging mine.
Oh, you did? Didn't you finish this? Okay.
No, I had finished one and started the other one. Yeah. I frogged it and I used the gray yarn to make Mark's gloves.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the same yarn.
Mentioned that. But I still want to make them, and I'm liking, because I had done the original colors that Ainur used, the gray, but I think I have some orange, so I don't know. But I still like them.
Yeah, they're really nice. I mean, the one thing is if you are newer to color work, I definitely recommend doing a different pattern first because you can kind of, I'm sorry, I'm getting all this glare from my window, but you can kind of see there's very long stretches of one color. Yeah. And it does actually look better if you don't catch the floats. And so it's a little bit challenging just to keep your tension even and stuff.
Yeah. And I think I experienced that. Like we were like, it can block out, but I don't know. I would want to do over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they're done.
Yay. You'll be able to wear them the way the weather has been.
Right. I know. Definitely in the morning I could still wear them. I just haven't. I was saving them so they'd be nice for the podcast.
Nice. Cool. Well, one of my FOs, well, both of them were from last episode. One of them was the trade that I did. So the cowl, the Killer Queen cowl by Lyrical Knits. I forget the designer's name. I finished that and I have since made the trade. It was really nice. The person really appreciated it and they told me they've been getting compliments about it and everything. And so what I'll do is I'll insert a picture. I put it on before I gave it to them. So it's not styled or anything, but just so you all can
Yeah.
see what the finished project looked like, I'll insert a picture. But I don't think, is there any, it's hard to talk about something that's not.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, I will say, that designer, I believe her name is Mary Annarella. Is that right?
That's right.
Because I have a colleague who knits and that loves that designer. And I think if I'm not mistaken, she's known for her shawls. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, she was new to me and I just kind of stumbled on it as an option when I gave the person options. And yeah, they did comment when they first picked it up, they said the yarn was really soft and heavy. And I hadn't thought about that. And I was like, is this a good thing to you? Is this bad?
Yeah.
Right? Because what first inspired them to want a cowl or scarf was they had seen me wear my vertices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one's a little lighter because you made that with palette, right?
Yeah. And it made me pause and think, oh, maybe there is a preference for, I mean, I like lighter, I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, I like lighter weight knits, but that one's also worsted weight and single strand yarn, unspun.
Yeah. Single ply, yeah.
Single ply, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
That's the Killer Queen cowl, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have another one that, well, I guess my other two have also previously been seen, but one of them is my Nomad hood.
I've seen a photo.
I did finish this in time to wear it on the snow days, by Suzanne Muller. So here it is. This is the Wandering Flock single ply fingering and mohair in the color Electric Orchid. I bought this as a kit. It was the kit had 100 grams of the single ply and 50 grams of mohair, and I still have quite a bit left, so it was more than enough. This is actually supposed to be the inside of the pattern, but I liked how it looked better than the other side, so I picked up for the face framing ribbing the opposite way that you're supposed to. So that and I knit it maybe, I don't know, 2 inches longer than the pattern called for, just so it would be nice and long. So I love it. The only problem is that it's actually, I think I need, if I would like to make this or another hood again, it's not knit at quite a tight enough gauge for the yarn that I use that the wind does get into it a little bit. So if I were to do it again, I would either knit a larger size at a tighter gauge or just use a yarn that's a little bit plumper, or maybe a non-superwash, because I think the single ply is a superwash yarn, just a little toothier yarn to keep the wind from getting in there. But anyway, that's my Nomad hood.
So fun.
Yeah, it's really a useful accessory. I don't know why people don't wear these more often, right? I don't feel like I often see people wearing these, but it's like a scarf and a hat in one.
Yeah, and it completely envelops your ears. Like,
yeah. I did not block it because I'm a little scared it's going to be too big if I block it, and I feel like it looks okay. This is what the side that's supposed to be the outside looks like.
Oh, got it.
Which is fine too, but I just...
again?
What's that?
Let me see the other side again.
Yeah, so it's half brioche basically, and this is like typically the wrong side of half brioche, but it's the right side of this pattern. But I liked the part that looked like the right side of the half brioche.
Oh yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. So
interesting, you notice the difference.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. And then the way the decreases and increases are on the back is pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, what else did you finish?
So I also finished, I finished the hat. I finished the Manhattan hat.
Oh yeah.
Manhattan Hat Light by Tori Yu. I think it's like Tori Knits. And here it goes. Yeah,
that looks so good. I've been seeing these everywhere and I keep thinking, oh, I don't want to make one because I don't really like the shape. But then every now and then I see a picture of one and I'm like, oh, maybe I do like that shape. Maybe I do want to make that.
Well, I mean, what attracted me was the shape. Um, and but I think that this yarn is the fabric is too drapey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I adjusted. It doesn't stand up like hers stands
Yeah.
up. But I have mixed feelings about it. Mark talks about just preferring having your beanie sit flat on your head. But anyway, what do I want to say about this? It's super soft and cozy. I love, love, love the color. Love the design as well. And I think the light version requires sport weight yarn. And this is, I mean, I use the US too, so I didn't check
Yeah.
the page, but it's a Cloudborn. I still have more of this yarn. I finished that sweater and I still have more of this yarn. Not the mohair, but the fingering.
Yeah.
It's the merino sock or something. Cloudborn and the Knit Picks Aloft. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna put it on because
Yeah.
it doesn't sit well on that, and I'm still playing with the right way to wear it. Like I do kind of like it folded down better, but then this part sticks up some. But I've worn it a few times and I've been playing with it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, it's meant to stick up a little bit, right? That's part of the style of it.
And I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like we're kind of like, I don't know, we just kind of have a debate about that style.
Right. Yeah. I feel like an old lady because I'm like, well, that's how the kids are wearing their hats these days. Maybe I need to get with the program.
The other thing to note is it's a tubular cast on, which I really like that, particularly if you're just folding the brim once. And yeah, it's not bad doing it once you get the hang of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like a tubular cast on. I have a hard time getting a tubular bind off to look good, but a tubular cast on, I really like how it looks.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that about the cast off. I actually haven't, the patterns that have required the cast off, I haven't done it. So anyway, yeah, that's the Manhattan hat.
Nice. So my last FO is I did finish my socks. These are really the first pair of socks. I mean, I did technically finish those scrappy socks this year because I had to weave in the ends, but the first pair of socks I've actually knitted this year are these. So 1x1 ribbed cuff, 3x1, and this is Olan sock light in the color milk. No. If it's not, we'll put it below the right name of the color. I'm pretty sure it's milk. Anyway, so they're done. Excited to wear these. I just find this type of sock like very wearable, like in like short boots, and you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
I also just got a new pair of clogs that I'm hoping will look nice with hand knitted socks. So
those look like they could be store-bought.
Oh, thank you. You know, I love that compliment.
Are you using US Zero?
Yeah, I always use US Zeros because I'm a pretty loose knitter. So yeah. And this yarn in particular is very, very fine. So I think it also leads to a little bit more of that look. But yeah. They're going to be very versatile for sure. And I've been finding like I haven't been wearing a lot of my like wilder socks very much. The ones I wear the most are the ones that just have like a little bit of that speckle interest or maybe like a cable or something, but they're otherwise plain. Like I wear my Pebbles and Pathways socks all the time.
Yeah.
So I need to remember that when I make socks.
Yeah. It's interesting how your preferences shift over time. Right? Yeah.
All right. What are you working on?
All right. So last time we went with least to most. I'm going to kick off with my most exciting whip.
All right.
I've been pretty monogamous when I have been knitting. And so I am currently working on, the Helia sweater by Joanna Ng. And I think their name is something like that. The designer name is something like that, Joanna.
I will put it below.
The info is below. All of our info is always below.
I can look it up while you're talking too.
So, and I spoke about this last time, so I don't need to get into how much the design just caught my eye and how happy, very much so happy I am to be working on it. I'm waiting for you to look up because I'm like,
I am, and at first it's like auto correcting to weird things, and so sorry. Yeah, Joanna Eng. And Joanne G Knit is her Instagram handle.
Instagram. Cool. So very, very similar to her.
Yeah. Or
all
probably right. Zo Eng Knit. Anyway, yeah. We'll put it below.
It's below.
Yeah.
But this is...
Oh my gosh, it looks so good. And you have that whole, is that whole sleeve done?
I'm on the okay. The whole camera thing is really tripping me up. So last time we podcasted, I was still working the raglan increases. So I finished that. I split for the sleeves. And okay, what's going on here? Okay. This is one sleeve. Let me see if you can see the pattern.
Yeah. Oh, so pretty.
It's so good, right? It's so good.
Are you doing the cables with a cable needle or without?
I'm using the cable needle. I've had moments where I've been tempted because I have looked at videos about not using one, and she links one in the pattern. And I've had moments where just instinctually I was like, okay, I'm not going to use it right now. I'm tired of that thing. But then I find myself going back because I'm like, I just don't want to end up dropping something or messing up. So I'm sticking to it. And maybe when I do, this is, I think, my second pattern with cables. So my third pattern with cables. But yeah, so I'm on the sleeve decreases. The sleeve's gone by, relatively, it's been enjoyable, right? Like I thought it was going to be overwhelming or just take forever, but it's been so engaging that I'm kind of moving through it, but not rushing the process either. I'm enjoying it so much. I do notice that I get some aches with the twisted rib, but I really enjoy doing twisted rib. It's something about just inserting that needle differently through the back that is enjoyable. And so what I've been doing is that, if you can see, I've done some of the body. So what I find is that often when I first pick it up, I'll work on the body, or depending on what I have going on, if I can't focus as much, I'm working on the body a little bit. So doing it this way with starting the sleeve, it gives me that, I get to mix it up.
Back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, I can work on the sleeve when I'm like, okay, I can do something that's a little bit more intricate, or I can work on the body when I just need some stockinette. So it's kind of like when you have a simple and more complicated project going on, but it's having it in one. But
it's a good idea. I mean, I guess I've never worked something with that intricate of a sleeve before, but the idea of doing the different types of knitting on the same project, I don't think that's something I've ever done before.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, because part of me is like, I wish I had another needle and had cast it on this other sleeve and then got it going, because I kind of feel like I can already sense that, I may feel that transition of finishing one sleeve. I'm like, oh dang, I'm starting from the very beginning of this other sleeve. But anyway, yarn we discussed last time. It's Bishabush mustard and Isayur tweed, which is a single ply mustard as well. And I just love it. And this is the one that also has a split hem. So I'm going to have to try it on and try to get that location.
Yeah, figure out the proportion of where to put it. Yeah.
Look at this.
Yes. I mean, that sleeve, I need to knit something with cables, because I just love those cables.
All right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, what you got going on?
Well, I'll show you my sweater project that I have going. I've been trying to just really focus on one thing at a time, especially for big projects, so that I actually am getting things done. So this is the Port Sweater by Ozetta.
All right.
I think I started this on one of the snow days also. That's the front. So I have the... sorry, I should have maybe closed out those blinds. I have the body. I'm working on the ribbing. What's that?
I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. Okay. 1x1 ribbing down here at the bottom of the body, and then I'm going to be picking up for the sleeves, which it is a drop shoulder, so hopefully the sleeves won't be too time consuming, and it has this little rib detail on the drop shoulder. So.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I'm making this out of the Knit Picks Upcycle in like a kind of a muted green color. There's that green. Yep, there's that green. And I've been wearing my Morgan cardigan that I made out of the like pinkish, purplish, reddish upcycle. And that cardigan is pilling a lot. I think we talked before about just like if it's a feature of how the yarn is spun or whatever. And I was recently watching, I think it was Caddy Jack's Knits. They were talking about how one reason to put mohair with a yarn is to keep it from pilling so much. And I was already like halfway through this, and I was like, that's what I should have done for this. Just put some mohair with it so that it wouldn't pill, but that's okay. I'll just depill it, and I'm not going back at this point. I've done too much.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So, but I am gonna try that because I have quite a bit of this and the pink left over that I want to make something else out of, and I think I might try putting it with mohair and see if that makes a difference, just for my own learning, right? Yeah. So that's the Port Sweater.
Cool. I have one more whip.
Go for it.
Okay.
I have a couple more, but
Okay. Yeah. So I'll finish mine. So I'm just working on another hat, a beanie. So if you remember, if you watched last episode, Mark told me he wanted a brown beanie. So I got started on that. And so this is it. It's simple, straightforward. It's the hipster hat by Petite Knit, my first Petite Knit. Not very much into the name of the pattern and identifying with no offense to anyone, but I had a bunch of designs saved, and I had him double check. I had him look at, like the Pearl Soho 2x2 ribbing. And this is the one he liked, I think, because of the crown. So just working on this. I think right now the hats or beanies have taken the place of my sock, right? Sock knitting, because it's small and compact and pretty straightforward, kind of like a vanilla sock. So I've been using this in that way, visiting my mom, etc. And so this is just, I had this sport weight merino from Sugar Plum Circus in my stash. So I was like, oh, that works. The pattern requires DK weight. I had started out on, the pattern also requires, I think, US 4 needles. I started out on US 3 and actually kind of had an ordeal where I didn't like it, but I didn't want to do the tubular cast on over. 2x2 tubular cast on, kind of.
I've never done 2x2 tubular cast on before. Yeah.
Kind of magical. You're like doing it and you're like, how is this going to work out? But it did its thing. And I was like, and Mark was like, well, can you just change to the smaller needles?
Yeah.
And I was like, if you don't mind, I don't mind. So I had started out on US 3, changed to US 2, which is what I used on this one. And I liked the gauge a lot better. And I had him try it on about when it was half this, how you really try on half this size. But it fit, because I guess it just stretches. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, if there's any part you want to be stretchier, it's that part too, because it folds up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want that part to be, if any part of the hat is going to be bigger, you want it to be that part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think there's anything else to say about this.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm a fan of a tight gauge. If you've been around here for a while, you know that I have very strong opinions about
it. I'm here for
it. Gauge. Yeah. So my other two, I have 2 sock whips and then my blanket. So as I said, I'm trying to pick like a project or 2 to finish every month. That's why I finished those wee mittens. And now I'm trying to finish my little dots socks. So this is by Summer Lee. The thing hold up here has been, I hate knitting on these 9-inch circulars, but it really is the best I find for color work to not get the problem I had on.
So I can't remember who it was. It was a video. I saw a video and the person held their sock inside out doing the knitting on the 9 inches. And they said for some reason that felt better. So, I mean, it could be worth trying. Because I have my 9 inches and I haven't really tried them much, but I think the next pair of socks I cast on, I want to do that.
Maybe I'll try that because I don't mind it for knitting English style, but I learned to knit continental and I prefer to knit continental and it's not comfortable to knit continental. Yeah. So on the plain rounds, I've been knitting the plain rounds English style and those kind of fly. But when I have to do anything with my left hand, I just don't. Yeah. Anyways.
Try it for us.
I will. I'll try it. This one's almost done. I'm about to do the toe, but on the next one, I'll try that and see if it works better. I also wonder if just turning it inside out and doing it magic loop would help because you'd be able to see the float when you go around the corner better.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyways, but I am happy with this. This is some Lolo did it. The red is Sriracha and the orange is Sweetness. I
like that name. I like the name so much.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be done with that one soon. I'm hoping to finish the other one this month too and be able to start wearing them.
Nice. And you're doing an afterthought heel. I saw.
Yeah. The pattern calls for you to put the waist yarn in. So I did do that and then do the afterthought heel. So I may actually stop right now and do the heel just to make sure I get the length right to the toe. But yeah.
That makes sense.
And then the last thing is, these are actually a failed project, but I thought it would be interesting to show, show successes here as well as failures, or failures as well as successes. So this is Felici sock yarn in the color Beyond the Wall. And I, several years ago, had made, right when I started knitting 2 at a time socks, I had made, which I don't really do anymore, but for a while I was on a two at a time sock kick. And I had made some socks with the same color and I had put a Fish Lips Kiss heel in them. I think because I was thinking it was going to be easier for the 2 at a time situation I had going on. A Fish Lips Kiss heel does not fit me very well. And so therefore I never wore the socks. So I actually ended up, I think, throwing them out. But I really loved this color. And so I eventually ordered more of the color. And so now I am finally making some new socks, but I got it in my head that I wanted to have like a little pop because it's, it's kind of gray, neutrally. So I was like, I'm going to put a little pop of color. So I did this little pop of color, but I think I thought because it was nighttime that this was more pink and it's very orange.
I like it.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
No?
I feel like it looks like a traffic cone and I'm not happy with it. So I was like, obviously I knit the cuff and then I knit a little bit more and I kept thinking, oh, maybe I just realized I don't like it. So I do have both of them that have gotten this far because I knit my socks usually in tandem. So it's only, 2-3 hours of knitting that went into this. So I'm just going to pull it back and start fresh and they will look, you know.
So you're not going to do a pop at all?
I think I'm just not going to do a pop at all because I do think I would like it better if it was hot pink, which I think is what color I thought it was.
Yeah.
But,
I could see that too. Yeah, I could see the hot pink.
Anyway, so I do love this color though, so I will sooner or later I will have some socks in the Beyond the Wall color. And that's okay. And then I was like, oh, I should like save those 3 rows of the orange and like do a different sock with that pop. And then I was like, that is ridiculous. That is like 2 grams of, not even 2 grams of yarn, probably 1 gram of yarn. Like, just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it.
Why are you trying to save a gram of yarn? I don't know.
Oh, you mean get rid of it entirely, or just
no, just that little bit at the top. I was like, oh, I should put it on needles, and then I can use that little bit for like a pop of color on a different sock. And then I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
It seems, yeah. No, I'm gonna save the ball because I like the color. It's just not right for that. You want to see my blanket?
Yes, please.
So what's that?
I've been following along with the post.
I almost forgot to post yesterday because I took the picture in the morning and then I got like talking on the phone to somebody and forgot about it. But for those of you who are new, I am making a temperature blanket and I started on April 22nd of 2022 for my first year living in Portland. So I'm coming close to the end of my journey. I realized last time I didn't say anything about the pattern or the yarn, but the pattern is the Granny Stripe blanket tutorial from Attic 24. I have no idea how many clusters I cast on, but I just like laid it across my bed to try and make it about the width of a full-size bed. And I did the foundationless chain, the foundationless cast on. So the first row is not a chain. It's actually clusters, if that makes sense. And I am using a 3 millimeter size D boy aluminum crochet hook.
OG.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually not the one that the finish is rubbing off of. I have like a size H one that the finish is all rubbed off of. This one's in pretty good shape considering. And I'm knitting it all with different colors of Knit Pick Stroll and different shades of green and blue. And I will not show the whole thing right now, but the most recent section. When we recorded last, it was right about here, I think, because these were the snow days. And then, yeah. So it's supposed to be, I think, like 48 or 49 the next couple days, which is this lighter green color. And then I think that's going to be it. I think I'm going to be done with this light green color sometime next week. And back into the yellowish green, and then maybe even a little darker green for some 60s before. Yeah, I only have like 5 or 6 weeks left. I'm almost done.
That's something else. What a journey.
I mean, it really is interesting. Like we were talking last time about, I was showing this big green patch below the pink there is like the whole month of December. It really is interesting to just think about the passage of time, right? And just how it just gradually has grown. And now when I work on it, the whole rest of it is like on my lap. And
and it's just, I mean, you're capturing the rhythm of the weather, right, through color and texture, and
and it is really, I mean, so down here is the summer, right? And you can see it's like a lot of darker greens and blues, and then you can really see like, ooh, then it got cold.
Got cold. Oh, fun. How do we celebrate the completion? I guess the celebration is getting to use it.
I know. Well, I've been thinking about it because it'll be done on on April 21st will be the last day. So April 22nd of this year, it'll be done. And then I am going to put just like a single crochet border, I think, all around it in the like forest green color. And then, yeah, then it'll be done. So we'll have to do some kind of, and then I'm thinking, like, what am I going to do to replace that
Yeah.
daily?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might just try and pick some socks that I work on every day, or some other type of project that, because I think I am going to, even though I'm getting tired of it and I'm like ready to move on, I do think I'm going to miss just that thing of like, oh, I have to look up the temperature every day and do my blanket.
It became a ritual. I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but
Yeah.
mentioning it, that daily practice. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, but yeah, I am looking forward to being done with it also.
Yeah. I hear that. I hear that. I mean, it seems like you're focusing on finishing up stuff in your whip pile and working on a garment at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. I'm going to try to finish port and those socks. And then I have the next plans I have is I have a couple of friends that have been asking for sweaters for a while that I finally picked out patterns and yarn for. So I think I'm going to start on those because I'm kind of moving out of the season where like there's new stuff that I need to make for myself because it's going to start getting warmer. So I'm going to start working on those so that they'll be done for the winter for them for this year. So
I feel that too. I'm kind of feeling that way as well. There's always beautiful stuff, but I'm not feeling super pressed. And no, I agree. I have another trade that I'll probably start to work on that through the summer, similar to you. It's so interesting being in this phase of like starting to knit. Well, we're still knitting for ourselves.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
You've always knit for others, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I do know what you're saying. Yeah.
For others. I'm still on a search for that perfect cardigan. So I've been contemplating that like every other day. Should I do this one? Should I do that one? Heather showed me a really nice one. I was like, okay, I gotta get yarn for it because I don't really have heavyweight yarn. And I just still haven't. I'm still unsure. So, and I'm okay with that. It would be useful. I still have my moments where I'm like, it'll be useful, but I don't absolutely need it yet.
Yeah.
And what else?
What
were you talking about?
I mean, I want to make something from, I think I know I sent you one that was just like a random pattern that I saw on Ravelry, but there's also a nice cardigan with pockets in the neons and neutrals book. And I just picked that up because I had pre-ordered it from my local store. And there's a couple things in there that I would like to make. Yeah.
I looked at it. There are some things that stand out to me as well, but we'll see if I'm like, oh, let me get the book.
Gotta stay. I mean, you don't have to stay focused. We don't have to do anything. It's a hobby. It's for fun. But I'm focused.
Yeah, it's just as things move us, as you know how as the spirit moves us, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And and again, the seasons are changing, but I have been wanting a cowl or a scarf. I want a simple scarf and I want a color work cowl. I've had those moments where I'm like, it would be nice to throw a cowl over my head and be out. So those are other things on my radar, but no particular patterns. Right.
Well, fingering weight scarf or cowl is like wearable all year round.
That's true.
I mean, in the Bay Area for sure. Yeah.
That is very true.
It's not really here in the summer. And I actually find I don't wear my fingering weight scarves as much anymore because I'm either wearing a heavier sweater or we also like it's warmer inside because the heating is like going full blast in a different way. But update on my plant saga for any of you who stuck around until the last few minutes last time is that I got impatient and a friend at work told me that in the winter, it's hard to get them to grow roots. And so I just went ahead and planted them in soil. And 2 out of the 3 of them are looking a little bit worse for wear. I don't think they're going to make it, but there's one that I think might make it. So I'll try to remember to bring it over next time if it's still alive.
Okay. I look forward to seeing how their journey continues. But that makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
They're more prone to growth during the summer, though it's been interesting. I've seen a lot of new growth on several of our plant friends around here, and it just excites me.
Yeah, I know it's
Yeah.
getting to be that time of year.
I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know. It's so interesting because I'm talking about the indoor plants, but
Oh, that's true.
getting so much rain here. We're in the middle of a atmospheric river, another one, which yeah, I mean it's kind of multi-layered here in the Bay Area in terms of having more water and then also the flooding
Right.
and such like and such. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, same when we have snow here, right? It's like
right.
beautiful and also just wreaks havoc on.
Oh, which reminds we
Yeah.
had snow too.
Oh, that's right.
It's
Yeah.
in the mountains.
Yeah.
So in Tilden and Berkeley, there was
Yeah.
snow. Mount Diablo over in like Walnut Creek area, and then actually the other day I was driving to San Jose, and that mountain range down there. I was surprised, but right at the peaks
Yeah.
there was snow. So again, wild and something to pay attention to as well. So.
Yeah. We actually had snow. It didn't stick, but we had snow earlier this week and we were out on a field trip and it was snowing. So that was really beautiful, especially because it wasn't really that cold. So it wasn't sticking. It was just fun to be walking through the snow. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and commenting and giving us a place to share our progress. We always enjoy chatting with you all, and we'll see you when we see you.
All right.
Bye.